being said, before we get into more of Trump's absolutely ridiculous rhetoric, he held another press conference earlier today. I do want to have a little fun. It didn't go very well for Melania Trump earlier today. She was invited to speak at a North Carolina high school. She's in the gymnasium. Maybe she's trying to sell her book. I don't know. But this is very interesting audio. It didn't go very well for her. I don't know if it was the microphone or maybe her English wasn't very well. I don't know what it is.
I haven't seen it.
But have a listen to the technical difficulties they had when they introduced Melania Trump and she just started to speak. Listen to this.
Lord.
So Usha and I just visited Dr. Olson's AP research class to talk
They said,
That didn't sound very good, did it?
Even the baby, like, instantly was like, time to go, Mom.
All she's trying to do is sell her book. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that one out there. The First Lady.
God, even the microphone doesn't like her.
I know, right? The part-time First Lady having some problems speaking into a microphone. So Donald Trump spoke earlier today, Ryan, at the Kennedy Center for the U.S.-Saudi Investment Forum. As you all know, the Saudis have done plenty of business with the Trump family, including Jared Kushner receiving $2.1 billion. And there's so much corruption going on, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So listen to Donald Trump say, the Board of Peace, he called it, chaired by a person called Donald J. Trump. Have a listen to this, and then we'll talk about it.
Have any problems, but right now it's looking very good and endorsed. They endorsed the United Nations, what's called the Board of Peace, chaired by a person called Donald J. Trump. I accepted the chairmanship. They asked me to be chairman. That's what I needed. It's just a little more work, but it's a great honor. That'll be the greatest board ever assembled. When you see this board will blow every board away. And I believe we're going to be lucky enough to have the Crown Prince be a very distinguished member of the board. But we're going to have the heads of...
And then, by the way, I renamed it the Department of War, but that is certainly the Board of Peace. Yes, absolutely, 150%. The Board of Peace. That's what he just said. That's literally what he just said, the Board of Peace. Ryan is speechless.
I mean, first off, you know, I feel like we should start from the beginning. We are letting domestic terrorists into the White House. Can we just start there?
I don't disagree. Yeah.
You know, and now we're celebrating, you know, giving these individuals seats at the table. And I have a problem with that. And
we all should.
There you go, sir. I think, and I'm gonna speak to my fellow veterans out there for a second. If you are watching somebody who has been credibly tied to terrorist attacks against our country, against our troops, and on top of murdering reporters, and you're seeing the president, you know, cheer for this dude like a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, if you don't have a problem with that after serving this country, I don't think you and I took the same oath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I certainly tend to agree with you. And what he is doing with, as far as Pete Hegseth is concerned and the DOJ, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But this was an interesting moment where now Donald Trump is saying that Elon should properly thank him for all he did for him. He said that this morning at the Kennedy Center as well. Listen to this.
They don't know. This room, they live on deductions. Me too. How much of a deduction do I get? We all live on it. Middle-income people, they don't know about that. They don't really have deductions. We're giving them a deduction on the interest if they buy a nice Tesla car and they borrow the money. You're so lucky I'm with you, Elon. I'll tell you, has he ever thanked me properly? Although I do let him buy other than electric cars, but these are minor details. You know, we had a mandate, which even Elon thought was ridiculous, that everybody has to have an electric car by 2030. And once, fortunately, he said, that's a ridiculous thing. So I keep quoting, but I'm giving them a deduction. Now, Elon would like to have it differently. A deduction only if you buy a Tesla, right? But we'll let it be for everybody. But think of it.
Elon hasn't properly thanked Donald Trump.
Does he want him to thank him like Trump thanked
Bill Clinton? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
You know,
Yeah.
and a friendly reminder, I mean, I think he thanked him perfectly when he tweeted out that, yeah, he's in the files.
Yeah.
You know,
Elon was right.
but listen, let's talk about the nefarious nature of this, which is he's talking about monopolies. He's talking about giving friends, you know, deals. He's talking about quid pro quos. That's literally what these are. Don't just take them as talking points. He's literally telling us, the American people, that he's giving somebody who just got $1 trillion, or I don't know if they're still fighting, but supposedly he's getting $1 trillion from Tesla. And you've got the president of the United States funneling you money and funneling you contracts and trying to, you know, get people to buy your vehicles. I'll tell you what, you want to get me to buy an electric vehicle? My father-in-law has a truck, and headset just went out. But my father-in-law has a truck, and he brought it up to us when they went out of town, and we drove it around. It started getting low, so we wanted to charge it up before they got back. Man, we drove around. You got to have a charger, a connector. If you got to use the Tesla charger, like it was crazy. Like we struggled to find a charger, and I'm like, maybe we need to invest in infrastructure and make it so that owning these cars is actually feasible. And I just want to end it with this. Instead of the rhetoric and the nonsense, let's remember this one thing too. Cars started with a very simple little engine under a hood, and look where we are now. I sold cell phones when I was in high school, and we had these Nokia 2180s. They were huge, and they had these batteries. They were, I think these were nickel metal hydride batteries, and when you leave them in the car plugged in, they started exploding. Right? So eventually they got better, and now I've got a phone that can go 2 days depending on my usage.
Right.
The point is that eventually electric cars are going to become feasible for us.
Sure.
And then it does, you know, then the conversation should become how do we get this accomplished?
Yeah.
But again, here in Arizona, every building should have solar panels on it. Every building. Because we should be harnessing that. But we aren't, and only people that can afford to put it on their houses are able to utilize those technologies. So like everything, this is going to evolve, but what we don't need is people like Donald Trump and Elon Musk cutting everybody out of the equation.
Right.
Because when you have one person doing things, you end up with a Cybertruck that looks like something my child plays with, Hot Wheels. But when you open the door to other people and other ideas, then you have competition, and that's good for consumers.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what I hear when I hear Donald Trump. I know we all listen to he can barely speak, he can barely put a coherent sentence together. But when I hear it, that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing, oh, you guys are just keeping each other rich while keeping everybody else out of the room.
No, that's a really good point you bring up. And again, if you're just joining us, Ryan Shedd in studio. Donald Trump speaking at the Kennedy Center for the U.S. Saudi Investment Forum. Speaking of investment, Donald Trump, according to the USDA, he says Turkey's down 33%. This is when he goes on, again, talking about how inflation has been dropping when we know it's been going up every month for the last 5 months. But have a listen to this.
I believe within a year or 2 years after the election, we were headed in a very bad direction. And now we're headed in the best direction I think that we've ever been headed. According to the USDA, Turkey is down, think of that, 33%. And I'm not talking about the country of Turkey. He's doing fine. Erdogan is doing good. Just want to, you know, I don't want him calling me. I'm not down 33%. He's a friend of ours. We got to take care of our friends. Since March.
What a freaking moron. And then he starts going on again. He can't go one day without saying that the 2020 election was rigged. Listen to this.
When I left, which was a rigged election, by the way, but that's okay. You know, they used to go crazy. I'd say rigged. Nobody complains anymore because now they realize it was, and it's been proven, and it continues to be proven. But when
talking again, lying about the 2020 election. Oh, but it gets better, Ryan. He's bragging about how 600,000 people have been taken off food stamps. He's saying that that's a good thing when there are so many struggling people in this economy that need food stamps. Listen to this.
You're making in 9 months We've lifted over 600,000 Americans off food stamps, and that's happening rapidly. You know, when we had the problem 2 weeks ago on the SNAP, and they talked about all of this, the numbers. So,
what is he talking about? What is the and it gets worse. It just keeps getting worse every single day. He's saying he'd love a Fed job. It's the easiest job in the world because you get to play golf 28, 29 years. Just listen to this. He's bragging about he loves the Fed job. Listen to this.
remember you said that. I love the Fed job. To me, it's the easiest job in the world. You play golf for 28, 29 days, then you go and make a little speech, tell everybody, in the case of the current guy, the wrong information because he has no clue. But if you have good instincts, you know, it's all based on instincts. I see they want to hire 3,000 economists, 3,000, to report to the Fed chairman. What are they going to do? Take all this information? 3,000 economists. That's why they're spending $4 billion on renovating a building that should have cost $25 million to do. They should have spent $25 million. They're building a basement into the Potomac River. I could have told them that's very tough to do and it doesn't work and it's very expensive. But they're up to $4 billion headed by this clown. But we have 3,000, think of it. They want to hire 3,000 economists. So they took a poll and they interviewed 71 people. And of the 71 people, 2 people got it right. 2 people. One was a great economist whose name I won't tell you because I don't like him personally, but he is good. And the other one that got it the most right was a man named President Donald J. Trump. Do you believe it? Everyone else was wrong. And I didn't have an economist. Well, I had Scott. But we got it right, didn't we? Huh? We got everything right.
Everything right. By the way, I just want to remind Donald Trump, because maybe he forgot, Ryan. He was talking about playing golf 28, 29 days. Donald Trump's golfed 72 days out of his 304 days in office. That's just under 24% of his presidency. The taxpayers are the ones that have to pay for that. Remember when he was blaming Barack Obama? Mm-hmm. He was bitching and complaining about Barack Obama playing too much golf.
Look, self-awareness is a very nice thing to have. And this man has none. Because him talking about anybody in leadership golfing is laughable. Like, look, first off, if the election in 2020 was stolen, then a bunch of the elected officials and Republicans in Arizona, my home state, wouldn't have had to be pardoned because of all the crimes they committed on your behalf.
Right. Yep.
You know, so again, it's just like, and anybody else standing on that stage referring to themselves in the third person.
What a weirdo.
Like, who else got it right?
Yeah.
Me, of course.
Yeah, what a weirdo.
I'm so great.
What a nut.